that we're not alone in this. And there are people here as city council members who are working with us to be able to make sure that the democratic process is upheld in the city of Philadelphia when discussing policies that affect our communities. And I want to introduce the first of those great allies, Councilwoman María Quiñones Sánchez.
Buenos días. Primeramente le quiero dar las gracias a todos los miembros de la comunidad inmigrante que se han unido, las personas de las iglesias y todos que han sido parte de este movimiento tan importante. We have Spanish media press here too, right? I want to thank all of the members, but particularly my council colleague Jim Kenney for the resolution and the discussion that will take place in a couple of weeks about what is a good policy. I think that there has been some movement, and while we're encouraged by the mayor's formation of the Office of Immigrant Affairs, the executive order on language access, we want to make sure that we have a policy that is forward-thinking. So it's not enough to say we are concerned about ICE. It's more of what is this detainer cost to the city? What is the burden on the taxpayers? What is the burden on our court system, on our police department? Let's have that public discussion. And then let's talk about a policy that makes sense. We have sister cities who have been much more progressive than we have in the city of Philadelphia about how it deals with this comprehensive immigration debate that is taking shape in this country. A detainer by itself is not the answer. The police department has all of the power that it needs to fully investigate, prosecute, convict, and when necessary, when someone is convicted, to initiate a deportation process. What we're asking the city of Philadelphia to do is, let's have that public debate in this council chamber. Let's have the public discussion that we need, and let's ensure that we have a progressive policy like Newark, who has said no altogether, or Washington, D.C., who has said, let's do this. If the federal government wants a detainer, you pay for it. Let's have that discussion. And that's what folks in the advocates, this historic collaboration of advocates is talking about. A couple of weeks ago, I was at University of Penn at the Bipartisan Center talking about this larger debate. And one of the things that it is clear is that the municipal governments have a role to play. We need to be the ones proactively sending the message to this deadlocked Congress about what is fair and what is just. This is an un-American debate. Deportation is as un-American as you get. We are splitting up families. So I'm proud to join my council colleagues and these advocates in saying to the administration, let's do this right. Let's do this in a way that we educate and formulate policies that will work for everyone. Thank you.
Special thanks to Councilman Kenney. His office and my office wrote this legislation back in November to talk about the issue of ICE and all that that means. We just opened less than a month ago an immigration office, naturalization immigration office at 41st and Fountain to represent Philadelphia and certainly all the outlying areas. And on Wednesday, before the Mayor's Commission on African and Caribbean Immigrant Affairs, we had a large discussion on this issue. The African and Caribbean communities will be well represented on March 3rd at 1 o'clock. We have a wonderful partnership. We've worked with them, one group since '05 that we helped form, and another for the past 23 years. That's called Echoes of Africa. And so we look forward to doing our part in this horrendous issue to make sure that all people in our city are protected no matter where they've come from and what their agenda is. All people who want to live good, clean lives have a right to be here and have a right to the tree of life without worried about being detained, harassed, and stopped. So thank you very much for being here.
Let me try to break this down a little bit on a personal level. And I'm glad that the theme of family is the main theme of this event and the main theme of our thrust going forward. Every citizen who lives in this city is part of our family. They're part and parcel of our family, no matter where they've come from, whether they're born here or whether they've decided to come here, because we want them to come here. but they're part of our family. If your child does something, misbehaves, you don't turn your child over to two strangers in a van who takes your child away and holds them for a couple of weeks while you figure out what they did wrong and how to punish them. We have a great police department. We have a great district attorney. He has a great charging unit. We have great judges, and we have a great court system. And I think that we ought to be able to sort it out ourselves without involving any other governmental entity. When we want to involve governmental entities in the things we want them to be involved in, they abdicate that responsibility. They don't want to help us with education, they don't want to help us with the things we need, but they want to help us deport people from our city. Cities like New York City and Chicago, they get it right. They understand it. They understand the value of immigration. They understand the value of people, whether they're documented or whether they're not documented, and we'll figure it out. If you mess up and you get arrested by one of our police officers or two of our police officers, and you get taken to the district or to the roundhouse, and you're processed normally, and you get bail, or you either make bail or you can't make bail. You get charged or you don't get charged. You go to court, you get found guilty or you're found innocent. But we do it. We don't allow two agents from the federal government to take you away to a federal prison, hold you there without them charging with anything, and then put you on a plane and send you somewhere else. As María Quiñones Sánchez said, that is as un-American as I can think of. We can do this ourselves. So I would urge you to continue to advocate as you do. This is ultimately about fairness. It's about being fair to people. And as I said before, sometimes people mess up and they get arrested, and it's sad. And Native Americans get arrested just as Native Philadelphians get arrested, just as as foreign people get arrested. And we don't want to treat people differently. Let's give them a path to citizenship. Let them work, pay taxes, come above, out of the shadows, and be Philadelphia citizens. That's all we're about. And we don't need the federal government. The federal government doesn't do much right anyway, and let alone stuff like this, which causes us grief, causes family disruption and dissolvement sometimes with families. You know, family values means keeping families together, even when somebody gets arrested for something stupid. So let's just go forward and try to make our own way and keep it within our own Philadelphia family. Thanks for being here.
We want to make sure that during our public hearing, by the resolution sponsored by Councilman Kenney and Councilwoman Blackwell, that we really get a sense of what the cost factors are, what are the mitigating factors, so that we ensure that we're writing a policy that is as proactive as it can be, that is as inclusive of the advocates as possible, and that it really still educates folks about the importance of public safety not being hampered by what we're trying to do.
Well, I think that we need to coalesce the organizations in the city and the communities in the city that are affected by this, give them a voice and let them express to their government their upsetment with this policy. I mean, I've been upset with this policy for years. I see no reason why we should be an agent or an arm of the federal government when it comes to immigration. If they want to do that, if that's their national policy, let them enforce it. We don't need to help them enforce that policy. We have enough of a court system, police department, DA's office to do our job to make people safe. We don't need their help. When we ask for their help, they refuse it. So when we don't want them to help, they want to. So, you know, I think that it's an ongoing process in trying to get some sense to this. We need immigration in the city to make the city grow. We can't set up a situation where people think the city is unsafe to come to because they may be deported because we cooperate with ICE. So we need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of that reputation. And this is one of the steps in getting rid of it.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.